There we go. Check, 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 check. Let's check over here. Okay, goody. I can be heard. I'm gonna wait like 2 more minutes, to be honest. I am waiting on my Domino's to come, so at some point I'm gonna get pizza from somebody at my door. But if you haven't already, we got a Discord. I think it's in our description. Within that Discord is a little thing to follow along if you want to follow along in Blender. It's not going to be super intense. Not going to really require you to be a genius or anything like that, but it's a little bit more involved than like an intro tutorial. My dog was sniffing at the door. I'm going to see if magically the Domino's person just decided to grace my doorstep. Maybe not. They're checking my order for quality. I got a feeling this is going to be a very good order. But ramble here, yeah. I'll maybe, yeah. Let's take a look at everything. I'll be jumping back and forth from chat and this, so just make a noise or a hustle or anything if you got anything you need to talk about. But yeah. Hi, it's me. I'm Calder. This is something we're leading into our Global Game Jam, which is tomorrow, going to be held at Loyola in the underground in the Dana Center. And I figured we haven't done a class in a while. I won't have time to do one during that, and we kind of want to keep these things regular. So if anyone has an idea for a class they want to host, we would totally be open for it. But I thought BlendShapes are kind of fun and sort of easy to pull off once you get used to it. So why not learn how to do BlendShapes, which is what we're going to do today. It's going to be fun. Anyways, if you haven't already, you should have a file that looks roughly like this. We've got the little heavy weapons guy over here. Credit to, I guess, Valve or whatever. But I figured he's a good expressive man, so it'd be really good for us to do BlendShapes practice on this. The mesh isn't perfect. I got it from the modeler's resource, I think. And that means that I had to sort of rely on Blender's tools to triangulate everything, or turn tries to quads. But for what we're doing, the mesh should be just fine. Anyways, we're going to add our rest position. It's kind of funny. We should be able to make a new shape key. Let me make sure that... Huh. Well, that's funny. Oh yeah, we can make a new shape key here. That's going to be the base of what we're doing. Everything is going to happen over here pretty much. So if I end up blocking that or anything, let me know. Because it's going to be fairly important that we don't block that. But even though you see a rig here, disregard it. The rig is not important. It's just here if you guys want to fool around with it afterwards. And if anything, everything should be pretty much in resting state. So the rig should have like 0 transforms on it. I'm fairly certain that is the case. So I'm just going to go to pose mode real quick. Yeah, so everything should be neutral. But yeah, he's all rigged up except for his top teeth here. It was a pretty quick and dirty rig. Don't worry about it too much because we're not going to be using it. I just did it here, so if after you're done with this you wanted to play around with it, you totally could. That is absolutely my pizza. So I'm going to, for right now, make the rig disappear, and we're going to go into object mode. We're going to select him, and we're going to make our basis shape key. And what that is essentially, this is just the shape key that everything calls from. This is the template, the normal, the default. And as such, we will never edit on it. This thing cannot be touched. It is sacred. We love it, and we do not want to hurt it. I think I'm going to be right back. No, not pizza. I was completely wrong. Anyways, that shape key is going to be very important. That's where I was last talking to y'all. So, what we do is we essentially make our basis key, and then from there, we're always going to make keys off of that. They're just going to be essentially clones of that. So, usually we're going to have the ability to do new key for mix, new shape for mix, and that's key 1. And all of this is pretty standard. Value 1, 0, range, min, max. Don't worry too much about this. We'll get to it in a bit. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to label our shape key. And for this particular thing, we're just going to detail how to make your character blink. And I should have gone over first what is important about shape keys. Shape keys essentially let you like do the type of animation that you can't easily accomplish with a rig. So like you could potentially go in there and give tiny little bones for each eyelid, and even if you had them just so perfectly, preciously like painted, weight painted, it's still just like maybe more hassle than it's worth. Or if you want to do like small little things like your cheeks puff out, or like your nose flares up, or you crinkle your face or something like that. If you want to do that, shape keys allow us to do that in a way that like is fairly intuitive if you've done any basic modeling, and fairly quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our new key from the basis, again, never touching the basis, and crank it all the way up in the value column to 1. And then we're going to click this shape key edit mode, and we're going to go from object mode into edit mode, making sure we have symmetry on just to save us some time. And we're going to start bringing this down, which might seem weird if you're like used to normal modeling. You usually don't touch the actual mesh, but in this case we will. I'm using like sort of standard my like navigation here. If you're having trouble, don't worry about it. This is the type of stuff that you'll get used to as time goes on, but I'm using like alt click to sort of reorient myself. And we're not going to worry too much about this like being perfect. Really what we want more than anything is just for this to sort of smooth out. And yeah, the smooth key up there, like a soft select. If you're using Maya, think of it that way. They're all fairly similar. And we can look in. I have the blessed ability to look at how I blink through this. We don't lift our lower eyelid too much when we do that. So again, just slowly bringing it down, slowly getting it in here, and creating a mesh that sort of looks like a blink. Good news is, if it's not perfect, we can edit it. If something's too stretched, we can move it around, we can unstretch it. I don't know what that grabbed. I shouldn't have it able to go through stuff right now. Usually I almost always have this on, but like for something like this, it's not as useful, I think. But yeah, I would say that's probably enough for the top eyelid. And now we're going to raise the bottom just a little bit. See, it's on both sides. Make sure we had symmetry on, in case you don't have symmetry. Yeah, you can also do that. If you press Alt while you're rotating, it sort of locks into regional views, sort of pulling this out a little bit. There's going to be more to this later on, that like this doesn't always necessarily play. I want to say, like, sometimes things just sort of mess up when you transition between the two, and we'll see that. And it's not the end of the world. All we want to do is just bring everything in. I'm actually going to bring this into here. Remembering, like, this is not necessarily things that have to be perfect either. For the most part, depending on your game, you probably won't be looking that close. But yeah, here's Heavy, and he looks like he's asleep, right? Clearly, we're kind of pulling the texture right now. Just to remedy that, I'm going to move all this a little bit and smooth it, just so our textures don't freak out too much. Okay, there he is. Tired Heavy. And the fun thing is, we reduce that value, and there he goes. He's blinking. And that's essentially what you do when you do a shape key. You're making a very sort of simple edit to your model, and you're letting it translate between those two values in a way similar to how you would interpolate another sort of model with a rig, but without having to do the sort of frustrating parts of it where you know, you have to rig up bones and everything like that, or paint weights. And we will be painting weights later, but like really what you'll be doing instead is looking at this, seeing if it sort of goes over any of the geometry. We can kind of see that it does right here. We can pull it out further. I'm going to move this in here so we get less deformation there. See how this like skin tone is kind of changing in a way that maybe we don't want. It's okay. We can just move everything around. So the textures don't stretch. And ideally, like, you probably wouldn't even texture too much before doing this. But yeah, let's see. And if we start from here, another fun thing we can do is we can find our trouble spots when things like this happens. Because, like, clearly we don't ever want our mesh sort of doing this. What if our game it was important that our character, you know, be taken seriously when he does sort of things like this, and this sort of leads into an emote? We don't want that. So what we can do is in our sort of mid-range values, we can tweak them as well. So we're fine up to here, and then we have some troubles here. And again, all we have to do, just massage everything at this value, bring it out, and keep going. And now we have a pretty clean blink. There we go. If we want to do more edits to that, I'd encourage you to sort of think about how facial movements work, because this is limitless, actually. Always making sure that your value is pretty much cranked, because like at 0 value, even if I do this, it's not going to do shit. You're not going to see it actually show up, because that's essentially saying that the shape key is null at the moment. So if we crank it, now we can edit it again. So like, let's bring up his cheeks a little bit as he blinks, as we do. And just a little crinkle in here. Bring everything a little closer. Do we move our brow that much? Not incredibly so. But it looks a little more natural, right? We got more of the face going into the blink. It looks as if, though, the eye topography might not be symmetrical, and that's okay, because we don't need it to be to make sure that this stuff works. One, I already, in this model, made sure that the eyes are separated. So literally these eyes not being symmetrical could just be a holdover from this model at this moment. Make sure it's not, and we can move them back. And we go back to our shape key, again, clicking on this, we'll see blink. It's cleaner now. It's good. So get it from the side. Maybe comes out a little sharp. So let's move these in just a little bit and this out. So it's sort of mimicking being on top of an eyelid. And if I'm going really fast, don't worry. Again, everything I did to get to this point was a lot of frustrating stuff too. So should be able to catch up as time goes on. Okay. Once again, let's clean this up. Because every time we change our last bit, it's going to affect everything else. One last bit to change right here. Just going to utmost extent that it needs to. Now the dominoes guy is here. Pulling in, pulling out. There we go. Alright, and I think do this. Still a little sharp, but it's there. Alright, that is my pizza guy. I will be right back. Sorry about that. Catch up if you need to. Hello? Alright, I've been starving. Thank God for food. I have no idea where to put it. Put it right here. Alright. I'm just gonna check and see if everyone's caught up. Anyone has anything? Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is about Domino's, but it has just a grip on me. Okay. But yeah. We could potentially make this better. I think it's fine, because really, as with every 3D model, we'll be looking at it from over here at the closest usually, right? Usually something like this. And then it looks good. But up here, of course, there's going to be issues. I'm fine with these issues, ultimately. So, eyes are good. Can you do them elsewhere? You can. And you can make as many of these things as you want. I agree. Honestly, like, nothing comes close. There's like I get Pizza Hut every now and then, but usually it's only because I'm punishing myself. Like, I don't know if I like Pizza Hut. Like, I get it because I want pain. But yeah. What if we want to make heavy weapons guy, sorry about eating, angry? Well, once again, new shaky for mix, anger. Let's call it that. Sorry, I forgot they have caps lock on. And this can be more intensive, and we can actually kind of play with this more. So here, I would focus far more on the sort of facial expressions. Oh, I forgot. This also affects... Well, we'll get to this in a second. So we're gonna have two really quick. If I feed my dog a little bit of chicken. Okay, go away. So let's furrow his brow. Sorry, I've made the soft select very small and is taking a little bit of time to get to the size we want. Okay. Good. Oh, I forgot. Value cranked to 1 on anger. Oh, wow. I think I see an issue. I already had that cranked when I did this. So look, now he's got his thing all the way down. So we're going to delete anger. That's one of the fine things about shape keys, that you can double up on stuff. So let's get rid of this one for now. Back to object mode, minus. Make sure everything's on 0 when we do this. And now, new shape key from mix. Call this anger. Well, 2 R's, why not? We can change that later, who cares? So back into here. Crank it to 1. Hit my dog on the head. We start moving things around. I don't know what chicken thing this is, but it's good. Let's give him a sort of cartoonish sagging brow. And we're gonna maybe raise his cheeks a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, we kind of tense these up. So, tense these a little bit. We'll make his little mean mug. I'm going to turn this off. I don't even know why it's on. A little meaner. Bring in his brow a little bit. Sharpen his forehead. Might even like show little teeth. Like a little like. Important thing we can do on this is also connected only. Alright, it's important to exaggerate, especially when we have cartoony models like this. So let's find out other things we can do to make him look potentially more pissed. Raising the eyebrows here. Maybe we crinkle the nose inward a little bit here. Little anger lines on this. So I want to keep this topology somewhat clean. Looks like his teeth are somewhat getting involved here, so we're actually going to puff that out a little bit. Might be some topology issues here as well, but that's what you get for not making this model for class. Oh, I can see that horrible engon. Look at that. Oh, it's not even an engon. It's just weird geometry here. Let's see how this changes him. Calm, angry. Maybe we'll bring his chin in a little bit. A little more, even. Okay. Does he look angry? Let's see. We're not going to mess around too much. He does look angrier, right? Got his little raised eyebrows. Got a little pissed action to him. Maybe what we need is for him to have a little closed eyes, and we can do that pretty easily. Well, now he looks angry and asleep, which I kind of like. But that's one of the fun things you can do with shape keys. You can stack them really easily. Especially if you're not sort of messing around with the same sort of things. You can put one shape key and have it layer over another. Very, very easily. Actually, I think what we need to do is have him squint his eyes a little bit. Raise these a little bit higher. So he gets a little pissed. I think that's good. Now he looks sort of dreary. But yeah, you can see now how they stack with each other. Now they play off each other. Which is fun. And it's really easy to sort of mess around and create very hungry. Complex emotion trees from this sort of work. Like, it quickly becomes very advantageous to have a lot of these and a lot of different emotions as we sort of play around with our model and figure out what we can do. I'm going to do a little bit more on this, and I'm going to teach y'all about masking, and that's probably going to be it. Sort of a short class, unless y'all have any specific questions. I'm looking in chat. What do we do with our jaw? Do we grit our teeth together? Does that sort of... Yeah, I feel like that sort of widens our face a little bit. So, I'm going to do a soft select. Widen and pull back. And maybe still flatten this up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So, now, we're going to make two other pretty simple ones by creating a mask. And that'll sort of be our wrap up on initial shape key stuff. And I'll show off some of my more elaborate shape keys I made afterwards, and the controllers that I use, just to sort of show what you can do with a little more time. But yeah, first, tons of vertex groups, obviously. We're going to make two more. Group 1, Group 2. Group 1, we're going to call face.l. Group 2, face.r. And we're going to select, go into our thing here. Make sure you have your sort of 3D select or X-ray. We're going to select, and sometimes you can have the head actually sort of as a separate thing altogether. But since we're only doing the face, we're going to select probably, yeah, up to there. We'll have a little bit of extra in here, but like down the line. Let's make sure we get pretty good here. Like as close to this as possible without actually selecting that middle line. And that's roughly half of the face. And we're going to assign that with a weight of 100. See that down here? All this is right here, right? Assign weight 100. So there. Now we're going to do the opposite. I wonder if we can actually do select inverse. Well, close enough. And selecting that off of it again, as close as you can without getting the little bridges of the nose. So just do. Good. And we're going to assign the weight to 0. Oh god, did I do it wrong left and right? Whatever, we'll just rename them. I don't care. Assign it. And then we're going to select straight down the middle, making sure we don't get these little guys. And we're going to assign that to 50. I'm going to rename this R because it's selecting the right side of the face. And name this L, it's in the left side. If you were smart, you didn't do that, but now we're going to look at our weight paint, and we can see roughly that 50% of him is that way. Don't worry about the rest of his body like this. That is just sort of an incidental effect of me not necessarily being as diligent as I could be with this. It's okay. Not the end of the world. The only thing I am concerned about is how the line is sort of riding here. So I may, just to make sure, once again, do this, but be very particular about making sure it gets these. I see. Yeah, no, it's fine. So we're going to do the opposite now. If this is easier for you, it's easier for you. Just selecting this again. And now this time we'll, since we're on L, we're going to put the weight down to 0. Assign. Over here. Seems clean. Just going to double check though. Close to the line as we can. Assign 100 for this one. Assign. And right up the middle. $50. .5 rather. Assign. And if we go into weight paint, then this one's a little bit like that. So if we go into here, it's like that. Here, like that. This actually brings me a little pause because we can see that the left side is a little bit better oriented here than it is on the right. You see how that sort of goes a little bit further over there? And that this is, yeah, let's reassign this just to make sure. So on our right side, we're going to go one more time over here. Making sure everything is clean. Okay, it looks like something got caught here. So once again, assign. Right here, that's 50. 0.5. Assign. And over here, that's 0. Assign. So let's see our weight paint again. That's cleaner. That's way closer to what we want, and it's actually being sort of mirrored correctly. If we want these weights to be a little smoother, there's literally just a thing that does weight smooth. Let's just do it. Why not? So there's sort of less immediate drop off. I guess that one was already smooth enough. This is good though. So now if we go into blink, we can do some really quick stuff to add some extra shape keys. So if we have this, let's just add vertex group, face R. And look at that, we got a wink. Take it off, it's a blink. And we'll do it again with face L, other wink. Pretty quick, huh? It is the heavy. So that's how we can also sort of create additional poses through using our symmetry and playing with it. So let's quickly, before we're done, we'll give them their own things. So instead of doing a new from mix from the basis, we'll make a new from mix from our already established shape key. New shape from mix. We'll do our face R on here. I'll call this wink R. We'll turn off this key. Turn on. Oh, geez. As I said, I forgot. We went over this before, but if you're going to make a new shape from mix, remember to turn everything off. So, new shape from mix. That's funny. Just going to see if we do blink at 100 and do new shape from mix. Now we turn off blink from 100. That should be good. Yeah, okay. Now we go to face R. There we go. Let's call this wink R. And why not? Same deal. We'll just make a new shape from mix. Go into our vertex group of the masks we had created. And we'll do face L. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn everything off and turn everything on. Okay, so let's turn off wink R. Remember, every time you make a new shape key, probably want to put everything back to 0. But I'm sloppy, I do these mistakes all the time. Value 100, new shape for mix, wink L, vertex group, face L, turn off blink, turn on our new wink. Oh, well, we forgot to put face L in here. Put face L in. And there we go. Little wink on both sides. And that is almost all I want to show you. The last thing I'm going to do, I'll show you how to make other symmetrical mixes that are pretty quick. Let's say I just want to make his ear wiggle or something. This will just be called wiggle R. Since there's nothing on here, put it to 0 like we would normal shape key. Turn off our symmetry. Put it up, I don't know, rotate around. Like this. What a weird little shape key. Whoop, 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 whoop. For some reason, let's say we really like that. Because we have our topology marked, because our thing is symmetrical. Actually, we should rename this wiggle underscore R. Be somewhat picky when we do this. So get out of edit mode, go back into object mode, wiggle R, mirror shape key. Oh wait. Well, it should be mirroring shape key. Maybe we make a new shape key first. Let's try mirror shape key and just make sure that it's doing what it's... Yeah, okay, so it mirrors that. So all we have to do then is mirror it again. If we want another wiggle R, we can do new shape key for mix, wiggle underscore L, mirror shape key, just like that. Well, not just like that, because once again, I am sloppy. So, cranking the value up, remember to do that. Every time you want to do a shape key and you want to derive from the other thing, the shape key has to be active. New shape key for mix, make this one wiggle underscore L. Turn this off. Turn this on. Mirror shape key, and there we go. And that is essentially how you can make shape keys. We can go into further detail another day about how to bind them and make fun controllers out of them. I'm just going to call this save as quick shape key completed. I'll show you really quick, because eventually you can add these values. They're taggable values, so we can make them values that are interpolated by other parts of our rig. So if we want to do something more complex, save here. This is a little guy from an anime called Oshimbo that I really adore. His name's Yamaoka. So in his rig, I have attached my shape keys to little controllers. So if we go in on him, and I don't know why it keeps pulling it out, we can now move this around and we can get different emotions based on where we move our controller. So if we want him to have happy enemy eyes, we can do that. If we want him to have angry enemy eyes, we can do that. If we want him to have very happy enemy eyes, we can go this way. If we want him to have slightly different eyes, like concerned eyes, just that, we can go left. Like these are sort of concerned eyes, and right, or a little more skeptical, and we can mix them. And essentially, these are just taking shape keys and adding values to the X and Y sort of location on where this is. And I have two. I have angry and happy and I forgot what this one is. Like shocked, I think. And aghast. And there's just sort of fun things that you can do with shape key, especially stuff that like, even if you already have a rigged out model that you plan on like doing stuff with, you can still move parts of this around and move your jaw around. That's right, I haven't messed around with this rig in a while. You can still play with your jaw. You can still do things that play with the shape key while doing other stuff. They stack. So you end up having the ability to do a bunch of sort of complex emotions with your rig fairly quickly as a result of like having these shape keys available. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this. Won't have any other things for Global Game Jam. I'll just be working, but we will have another Game Jam soon that's just us seasonally. And by then, we should have something new for y'all to go over. Thanks for joining us. This will be in our archives. It'll go up to YouTube later. And I hope y'all...